I was reading a little bit more about the history of South Korea, and I didn't realize it's such a young country. So pretty much in 1919 it became a provisional government after the occupation of Japan over Korea. But then after World War II, there was a division between North Korea and South Korea. The North controlled by the Soviet Union, the South controlled by the US, and then South Korea gained independence in 1948. However, just 2 years after gaining independence, that's when the Korean War started, which was the fight between democracy and communism. Again, North Korea versus South Korea. And there were lots of deaths, lots of destruction on all sides. Probably over 3 million people died during this time. Something I find very interesting, just when looking at 20th century history, is pretty much the fight between democracy, communism, and even fascism, where I have always wondered, why did the US become an ally of the Soviet Union but during World War II, but then the Soviet Union was a big problem during the Cold War. So what happened is Germany, they were the common enemy between communism and democracy, and on all sides pretty much everybody came to an agreement that the Nazis, and all ruled by Hitler, were a huge threat to world peace. So the US became an ally with the Soviet Union. But then after that, after they won the war, ideologically they still had a lot of problems. So that's when the Cold War started, right after World War II. So we're talking after 1945. I think the Korean War was the beginning of it in the 1950s. Then you had the Vietnam War, which also was really sad moment in history. And now we're here in present time. The Soviet Union, fell apart in 1990, 1991. And now we're here, so it's really cool to see a success story of democracy in the 20th century of a very young country, South Korea, here in Asia, where I think there is still a fight. There is definitely Korea very much a huge fight between democracy and communism, North Korea, South Korea, but also across Asia. You see that dynamic. You're seeing it a lot in Latin America and many other countries around the world. So I think my conclusion here too, my summary of this, is just the sad part about wars and the wars between ideologies and power is that the people that suffer are the innocent people, are civilians. Those are the ones that get in the mix in the middle of wars. Lots of politicians trying to gain power all over the world. So I went into a little history rant here, but I just think it's interesting and appropriate to see and give honor to the good job that South Korea has done building a beautiful democracy, a beautiful country, and I'm excited to continue seeing Seoul for the next days.